Hello everyone, welcome to the ECN Leadership Channel. I hope everyone is good, and thank you very much for all your follow-ups, your comments, reposts. I believe that this continues to be a source of inspiration and adding value to as many one of us. So this week, while thinking in the course of the week, I penciled something down which I believe very much is a very, very important trait of every great leader that every leader should possess. And it's actually the attribute of sales in communication. Sales as a communication, as a leadership trait. What we have seen in time past is we have seen leaders communicating vision, goals, objectives. Yes, maybe they do communicate them very clearly, but communicating clearly is yet not enough, because every vision is only achievable by a team, not by any sole individual. You need a team. And so what it means is that whatever you see, or the end of the matter that you see as a vision, or towards achieving that set objective, every member of that team should also see the same. In an event where team members do not see what the leader sees, there's no achievement of goals or objectives. So it becomes very paramount that every leader should possess the skill of not just communicating clearly, but selling the goals, objectives, or the vision. So sales is a major, crucial part that every leader should have. What we have seen in time past is that many leaders, as we've said, operating in some leadership trait, like authoritarian kind of leadership trait, they just dish out instructions. And can I shock you? There's something about the human being that has been proven. If you date back to scriptures in the time of Adam and Eve, when we humans are told do not, that is when we actually go to. There was this story that was this story in Kenya somewhere of a particular artifact that was placed, and it was written clearly, do not touch. It is when we as humans, when we are inquisitive, we are always trying to question why. So this one, do not touch. Immediately somebody touched it, and that led to the collapse of that particular artifact. So you see, dishing out instructions is crucial, yes, in leadership, but it has a place in leadership. What is most paramount when every leader wants a team, his team in this case, to be able to achieve the set objectives, the goals, or the vision, as the case may be, would be the ability of that leader to be able to sell, communicate, selling the vision to the team. And in selling any vision, goals, objective to any team members, there are crucial things. Number one is that everyone must understand the why. Why are we doing what we are doing? It is in the why that team members begin to understand the value behind why they are doing what they are doing. Because until you make the human being understand why he's doing what he's doing, he would not be motivated or inspired to do them. He could do them while you are watching, but when you turn your back at him, he turns the other way. That was the same thing in the Garden of Eden. Remember, the serpent just needed to motivate Eve. Did they say that if you eat this would happen? And immediately she was motivated. But when you dole out instructions, people would obey your instructions in your presence. But what happens when you're not around and you are not omnipresent, so you can't be everywhere at the same time? So team members must definitely, genuinely have bought into the vision, into the goals or objectives that you have set, so that whether or not you are there, they are running exactly the way they ought to run. So the why builds the value. And this value now begins to progressively increase and grow into a belief system. So team members now have personal beliefs why they are doing what they are doing. This belief system further grows into a commitment which drives action, because at the end of the day, it is actionable steps that you're looking at. So you see, there's a progression from the why, which drives the value. Why are we doing what we are doing? This value progresses and grows into a belief system. They now understand why they are engaging in whatever activities, whatever strategies, whatever tactics that they are putting out there. And then from there, that belief system drives the wheel. and then their will put them to action, and they go out to begin to achieve them. I'll give a very typical example, like we always do. Permit me, I have my experience in the field of the healthcare industry. The industry or the company I used to work for then, we were chiefly into what we call prescription-only medicines. So that means drugs that only a doctor should prescribe for a patient to have. And so at the point in time, top leadership wanted us to digress into the consumer end of our products. We were strictly a prescription-only medicine team, but now they wanted us to also digress and cover consumer-only medicines, because the set of customers we attend to for the prescription-only medicine is different from the set of customers we have to attend to for the consumer goods. And so this became a big challenge, because now it's a whole change of focus and perspective. You now have a new set of customers you need to be able to attend to, and you see customers are different, so you profile them differently, and you have to be able to develop tactics, develop strategies to be able to reach out to them. So in this case, it was something that needed us to drill down to as low as community pharmacies, as low as anyone that is willing to be able to prescribe that kind of medication for that category of patients. So when the task was given, I sat the team down, and it was at the sales conference. After all the leaders had gone, the topmost leadership from the head office had gone, I sat everybody down. I said, guys, and we had a short expiry position at hand. I said, this is possible. This is very possible. It starts with the possibility mentality. If you think it's not possible, then it's not going to be possible. So think possibility first of all. And after thinking possibility, now guys, the next thing is that, because it is only when you get into the possibility mode, not a closed mindset, but an open mindset, not a fixed mindset, but an open mindset, then you begin to realize on sitting down and genuinely beginning to meditate and think about the how. Now we know the why, the how. How are we going to prosecute this agenda? How are we going to deliver these numbers? It is only when you get into the possibility mentality, and then your mind is now opened up, and then you begin to think. Possibilities begin to open up. And we sat down there throughout that day, and we were brainstorming. Ideas began to come from everywhere. And you see, these ideas also began to come from them, because now their mindsets were already open. I told them, this is possible. There's nothing that's impossible. It is only when we say it's not possible, then our minds are closed. But once our minds are able to be open, then possibility is a reality. And we came up with such wonderful ideas at the end of the day. When we hit the field, after a period of about like a year or so, I remember team members telling me, say, boss, man, nobody would have thought would have been able to do this, that. In fact, this was like a do or die thing. But here we are. Yes, we did not achieve exactly what we set out to achieve, but we actually hit the field, and we got a very reasonable number. And when it comes to short expiry, again, sometimes customers are a little bit not open to taking them, but we were able to reduce as much as possible our losses to a very great percentage. So, but how did we do that? We only did that because I was able to sell the possibility mentality to the team members. And as soon as the team members bought into the possibility mentality, each one began to think. And as we put our minds in it together, we came up with possibilities, and that was it. So you see, it is the ability to be able to sell that task to team members. But if you just come out there and instruct them, you see, guys, we need to sell and this is very important for every leader out there, whether you're a young entrepreneur, whether you're a business owner. You see, as a business owner, you also must possess the selling skill, because you must go out there to meet your end customer. But if you now have a workforce that works under you, you are not going to be able to go to every customer. You need your team to go out there for you. So your team needs to be able to understand the why, come up with the possibilities, believe in what they are doing, and then that motivation now drives them into actionable steps. So many businesses and services are actually suffering today because their leaders just come out, they turn out the goods and services, and they'll say, go. It's not going to work that way. It has never worked that way. So sales becomes very, very crucial for every great leader to possess as a communication skills. So it's not just about communicating clearly, but selling what the vision is, selling what the goal, what the task is, what the objective is to every team member, and then every team member has a sense of ownership in it. They own it and they begin to take steps. And some of the very good ways, I'll give some examples of some very good ways of achieving this. Number one is by using storytelling. Storytelling has become very, very key now because we understand very clearly that facts are not retained as much as stories. So when you tell a possibility in a story, what you have just done is that you have imprinted a picture, an image in the mind of someone. And everyone, pictures are distinct, pictures are strong, they remain in the mind. But when you just throw facts and figures around, nobody remembers those facts and figures. But when you paint a picture in storytelling, then that picture is there for a very long time and to stay with the individual. Apart from that, active listening is also something that is key because, as I said, as soon as I was able to communicate the possibility mentality to them and I sold it to them, then I sat down and we all began to listen to each other. So active listening is very, very key in being able to make sure you sell, because you also must hear the other side of the team. You must hear what their grievances is. You must hear what their feedbacks is. You must hear what the drawbacks is, objections, so that if there are possibilities of things that you would mute out there in the market space, you would now be able to come up with strategies or actions to be able to mitigate those things. And then also do not forget that in storytelling, always attach the emotional angle to it, because human beings they buy mainly because of emotions. So when you are able to tap into the emotional substance of every individual, what that happens is that individual now becomes passionate. He has absorbed whatever you have told him. He understands the why. His belief system begins to grow, and then from there he's motivated and he's geared out to go achieve the set objective. So you see, sales as a communication skill becomes very, very crucial for every great leader. And I do hope that these examples that we laid here today would motivate someone out there. Stop the dishing out of the instructions every Monday morning. You're dishing out the instructions every now and then. Please do not get me wrong. There is a place for being authoritative. There's a place for instructions, especially when team members, even after they are set out, begin to digress from the pattern that has been laid. There's room for that. But principally, human beings are inspired to go the extra mile as against when you dish out instructions to them. So thank you very much. I do hope that this has been of great benefit to everyone here this week. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know your own experience has been in terms of whether you have been dishing out orders and you've not seen the kind of results that you need. Now try out this particular skill, and if you need more help in terms of how you want to be able to sell your product or services to your team members, or the vision or goal or objective, kindly let me know, and then we can have a chat and give you some tidbits that would definitely be able to help you ensure that your team achieves whatever set objectives that you're out there to do. So thank you very much for joining once again and for listening. I would see you on the other side of the next video. Do have a fruitful week ahead. Bye.